What's up, guys? It's Eric from Rare Candy, and today we're back with the third round of the recent expanded league challenge we got to attend. For this round, it's going to be Brian Fox playing Trevenant BREAK on the left. We've actually featured Brian in a previous league challenge video we did too, if I'm not mistaken, which he was also playing Trevenant. So I guess it's been a deck that he has missed since the rotation. And then on the right, we have Justin Dean playing, I believe it's just like a dark toolbox, Darkrai EX, Yveltal, etc. So there should be an interesting matchup just because Justin will have type advantage in this matchup, but at the same time, item lock is very powerful. So for those who don't know, Trevenant, the one from XY, has the Force Curse ability, and it prevents your opponent from playing item cards as long as Trevenant is your active Pokemon. So even though these Yveltals and Darkrai's will be able to hit Brian for weakness, Trevenant, if it gets into play quick enough, it can slow down the Dark player, maybe enough to stay in the game. So here, Justin is getting to go first, which I'm sure he's excited about, just because he wants to play as many of these item cards as he can before the item lock comes into play, because he knows it's going to happen next turn. So he's going to play down Darkrai EX, discard a couple cards with Ultra Ball, and here he's going to grab himself a Hoopa EX and use that Scoundrel Ring ability to grab 3 EX Pokemon from his deck. So he's going for a Keldeo, a Shaman, and a Darkrai. I definitely like the idea of getting Keldeo because a popular strategy for Trevenant is to Lysander up big bench sitters like that Hoopa and just spread damage around them. But as long as you have this Keldeo EX in play, it has the ability Rush In. So if Keldeo is on your bench, you can use the ability and make it your active Pokemon. And Darkrai EX, the one he's powering up right now, has the nifty Dark Cloak ability. All of your Pokemon with Dark Energy have free retreat. So that in combination with Keldeo's ability will pretty much prevent any Lysander stalling as long as that Keldeo has an energy on it. So here he's playing a Hypnotoxic Laser, or poisoning that Phantom right there. And let's see, Best of Shaman drew some more cards. And I have to say, Justin's having an pretty incredible first turn here. He got 3 energy in play so far. And here it looks like he's just discarding a couple more cards with that Battle Compressor. He's playing that Hex Maniac in the discard pile, so that kind of tells me he probably has a Versus Seeker in hand. He's just going to grab that Hex Maniac and pass. So if you're Brian, you're thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? This Dark player has pretty much one of the best turn ones they could have ever hoped for. So right now, Brian, he's under Hex, so he can't play things like Jirachi EX or Shaman. But here he's getting a Burst Balloon down onto his Phantom and an Energy, so he's preparing to use that Ascension attack to evolve into Trevenant this turn, probably. So here he discards a couple cards from Ultra Ball. I'd imagine you'd probably just grab another Phantom. Since I'm assuming Brian probably has a supporter in hand if he discarded the N, or a Versus Seeker at least. So here's probably also just checking what's in his deck, what's prized, all of that stuff. But here it looks like he's actually eyeing down a Shaman EX, which is a little bit of a suspicious play since he is under Hex. So oh, and here it looks like he's like, hey, what am I doing? I'm gonna just grab a Phantom. So Justin was nice enough to let him switch that up. 'Cause otherwise, that Shaman would not have been doing much. Okay, and yes, since Hex Maniac is a support for you guys that don't know, it shuts off abilities for both players' Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he's just going to use Ascension, the attack on Phantom, to evolve straight into a Trevenant. So now Justin won't have item cards, but luckily if he just gets an energy, he will be able to attach an energy onto his bench Darkrai EX and knock out this active Trevenant. So I'm not sure what's in Justin's hand, but if he has an energy, I feel like he's in a good spot here. Okay, so here he's going to attack with Darkrai EX, use that Night Spear attack, do 90 damage, 180 once you apply weakness, and put 30 damage on that benched Phantom as well. So that's not good for Brian, especially since he didn't have a support last turn, but he did top deck a Jirachi EX, which is like the best thing you could hope for in this type of situation. So Jirachi has that neat Stellar Guidance ability. Whenever you put it into play from your hand, you get to search your deck for a supporter card. So that's really nice. If I had to guess, he'd probably grab himself an N here. That way he can refresh his hand and also put Justin down at a lower hand size as well. See, he could also grab something like Sycamore too if he really is just digging for certain cards. But it looks like he has a Trevenant in hand, so he probably doesn't want to get a Sycamore. I would imagine he'd probably grab an N here if I just had to guess. If he runs Teammates, that could also be a potential option as well. Oh, and here he's actually eyeing down a Getsis, which could definitely be a good card. So let's see what he ends up going with here. So it looks like he probably just wanted to check how many cards were in Justin's hand. Just probably trying to think of the odds of hitting some item cards off this Getsis. So Getsis is a supporter back from Plasma Freeze, I believe. And you get to look at your opponent's hand. They have to shuffle all item cards from their hand back into their deck, and then you get to draw equal to the amount of item cards that they shuffled back in. So it's pretty cool, especially in these item lock decks. You can shuffle all these dead cards back into your opponent's deck, and then draw some extra cards for yourself. So here, he's debating, does he want to attach an energy or not? He's debating it. It looks like if he wants to attach an energy, use Ascension, or just straight up evolve into the Phantom. But it looks like he put that benched one into play this turn, so he can't evolve that. I'm thinking you probably just evolve the active one and discard it, because he's probably figuring out what he wants to discard off this Ultra Ball. If I'm in Brian's situation, I'm thinking I want to evolve this active Pokemon and then Ultra Ball, maybe get rid of that Psychic Energy. That way I don't have to waste it on Ascension. But it looks like he's opting to get rid of the Trevenant. See, I'm not sure how I feel about this, especially now you are relying on getting a Dimension Valley into play to use Ascension for free. Because at this point, you kind of know that this active Phantom is going down no matter what, so you really don't want to have to waste an energy. Just use its attack to evolve when you're not going to do damage. So he is going to be able to draw till he has 6 cards because of that Shaman he played. So he does get a Burst Balloon, so he is guaranteed a Trevenant for this turn at the very least. So here he's also going to Super Rod to get 3 Pokemon or basic energy from his discard pile back. So he is able to get a couple of things back. He got that Trevenant that got knocked out earlier back in his deck, and also a Psychic Energy. So Trainer's Mail, look at the top 4 cards of his deck, just to pick a trainer card there. Maybe he can get a Dimension Valley for next turn, or I do see a Versus Seeker there, so that's also fine. He can also reuse that Getsis, or any other supporters that he might play this turn. Oh wait, he already played the Getsis this turn, so I think that's his only supporter option. Oh, and he did discard on the first turn. I forgot about that one too. So he's just going to use Ascension, evolve into that Trevenant, and so yeah, it's really unfortunate because this Darkrai is going to be able to take a knockout here as well. But on the plus side for Brian, though, these bursting wounds have really been softening up this Darkrai. The only thing is he won't be able to clean up this Darkrai for a knockout unless he plays Wobbuffet in his list. That could be a potential option to get a knockout here as well. So, okay, he's looking like he's eyeing down a computer search off that Trainer's Mail. So if you're Brian, what do you want here? That's the big thing. You definitely want to get a Trevenant into play this turn. You definitely want a Phantom on the bench in case one gets knocked out as well. So you have computer search, so you're guaranteed at least one decent out. So Ultra Ball, okay, he's actually going to discard the computer search and a Versus Seeker. So Not usually what you want to have to discard off of an Ultra Ball, but it must be pretty important. So here he's going for a Shaman EX, and he must be really digging for something in particular here. So Shaman, draw until he has 6. Okay, and he's just going to attach a Psychic Energy to Phantom here. Actually, Lysander. Okay. Um, so if you're him, you probably grab. Well, I guess I don't even know if it really matters here because Justin has Darkrai EX and Keldeo in play. So as long as he has an energy, he'll be able to just retreat for free and knock out this Trevenant. So we just have to really see what Justin has to work with here. So this is a pretty big turn because this is, I think, Brian's big turn to finally stabilize a little bit. And if Justin doesn't have a way to respond here, Brian might be able to get in a position to actually get back into this game. But here there's going to be a Lysander and a Hypnotoxic Laser. So he's just going to poison that Jirachi. And he just has to pass actually. So maybe he doesn't really have a way to deal with uh, retreating right now. So this could be big for Brian here. All he needs is an energy, but then he also needs probably a Trevenant Break. Okay, so he does have that. And a Dimension Valley. So that way he would be able to start spreading damage with this Trevenant Break. But he does have Sycamore in his hand as well, so more than likely he probably will be able to draw into a Dimension Valley this turn. So he's just checking his discard pile, maybe seeing if there's some supporters he might want to use here. So what does he got to do? If I just had to guess, he's probably going to play that. Oh, he's just going to pass actually. Oh, and here's a Battle Compressor. So maybe get rid of some extra supporters that he might not want to see, maybe like a Wally. Okay, just getting rid of an extra Battle Compressor. Wants to keep everything else in his deck, so that seems okay. Okay, and again, I'd imagine we just see a Sycamore. Okay. All right, does he get it? Okay, so he does get the Dimension Valley, so he will be actually able to use this Trevenant Breaks attack Silent Fear to start placing 3 damage counters on all of Justin's Pokemon. And he does get a Phantom as well, so that's really nice, just in case Justin does uh, grab himself an energy to retreat here um, and maybe knock out this Trevenant Break. Brian will be able to start powering up another one. So we're just going to see Silent Fear come down, put 3 damage counters on all of Justin's Pokemon. And right now, this Darkrai is on a 1-turn clock. He really has to get an energy here to knock out this Trevenant. But he just has to pass. That's that's got to be so frustrating if you're Justin. You have this epic first turn. You get 3 energy into play. You thin your deck out pretty decently, and you can't draw into an energy just to retreat. So that's got to be frustrating for sure. So what does Brian opt to do here? If he can just get himself another Trevenant, that'd be nice, just to start powering up that benched one. Okay, versus Seeker, what is he contemplating here? Oh, he's actually going to go for an N, so he must want to save those resources that were in his hand. So if you're Justin, he's probably thinking, man, I'm happy about that. Hopefully I can get myself an energy here finally. Okay, so what else does he really want to do here? Looks like he's potentially eyeing down energy attachment on Shaman. I'm not sure how I feel about that though, because if this Trevenant Break gets knocked out and this benched Phantom and Dimension Valley gets knocked out of play as well, you're going to need an additional energy to use Tree Slam on the next turn. Um, if you can find yourself another Dimension Valley. It looks like there's actually no more Pokemon in Brian's deck he wants to get, so that's interesting. He must have a Trevenant prized. Pierre's just going to do Silent Fear, knock out that Darkrai EX, and get 2 prizes and tie up this game. So here, Justin is able to bump that Dimension Value. He's got to be excited about that. Gets the energy on Keldeo, and he's able to use Russian now, and then just retreat. Oh, and actually, I don't think anyone caught this, but the Darkrai EX that gave free retreat actually is no longer in play. So Justin actually would not have been able to retreat for free with that Keldeo, because the other Darkrai EX is actually the one from Breakpoint here. So that's actually a pretty big thing. I'm kind of surprised no one caught that. Um, let's see if it makes a difference. So Brian's just gonna keep using Silent Fear, spreading damage here. So this Shaman is on a 1-turn clock now. This Keldeo also is potentially if he uses Tree Slam. So I don't know. I don't think it's looking good because now this burst. Okay, we does have to discard the burst balloon. Um, but if he uses Silent Fear again, I mean, I don't know. It's just not looking good because Silent Fear would knock out Shaman, and then also it would make Keldeo 1 Silent Fear away from being knocked out as well. So it's not looking good for Justin at this point. He's gonna have to do something here if he really wants to stay in the game. Okay, so maybe if he can, so just gonna Juniper, getting rid of those item cards in his hand. Get a Verbank Sage in. That's a good start. He'll be able to bump that Stadium. Okay, and actually in that time he did pay the energy to actually retreat the Keldeo like he should have. So that's good at least. But he's gonna take a knockout and he needs a break and an energy. Oh, and there is the game. So even though there was a little bit of a ruling issue there with Keldeo retreating for free, ended up not really mattering since Brian had the win regardless. Looks like that's what they're going over now, I think, actually. But okay, so the Trevenant player actually beats Dark. That's always a good feeling if you're playing Trevenant. I think probably one of your scariest matchups is going against Dark decks. So Brian was able to pull out a win here, and no doubt he's excited about that. And actually, speaking of which, Brian has his own YouTube channel, and he actually posted his deck list there for anyone who might want to try it out. I'll be sure to put a link somewhere if you want to check it out, probably on the screen or maybe in the description. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But also, guys, we have one more round coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. And as usual, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our merchandise over at rarecandytcg.com. Pick yourself up a playmat, maybe a t-shirt, just something to help support the channel would mean a lot to us. But with that, guys, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one, okay?